minutes. All right, guys, welcome to our Monday night call. I'm so glad y'all are here. Tamara is going to be speaking tonight, and I'm so excited because we actually met in a fitness class in Zumba a long time ago, in Zumba at the YMCA when I taught night classes. And it was so fun, and packed rooms, and just lots of sweat, lots of energy, lots of hugs. Back in the old days when we could do that, right, Michael? He's a trainer, and Brandy's an instructor, Cheryl's an instructor, but times sure have changed. But the cool thing about Tamara is, guys, when I met her, I just loved her energy. Of course, she was fun, and I did not know, but my best friends, two of my best friends, and you may not even know this story, Tamara, but they had just come out of a prayer meeting, and I didn't get to go, but they were telling me about this woman they met. They were like, this woman we met named Tamara. They didn't say your name. I don't think they knew your name at the time, but they went on and on about how amazing and godly you were and how much faith you had. And this was a long time ago, but you really made an impact. And then we pieced it together. I was like, oh, she takes my class. And it was just, it was just so cool. Hi, Raylan.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Do I know you, or does somebody else bring you on here?
This is my new rep.
Oh, cool.
Hi, Allison.
Hi. Thanks for getting on.
Yeah.
Awesome. So glad you joined. Well, I was just introducing Tamara. She's a dear friend from back in the day, Zumba days, and she was with the company doTERRA. And then all of a sudden I see she's a business coach. So I was checking out her website, guys. She's got an amazing testimony. I know that, an amazing story. Yes. And now she's helping so many people, and I just love it. So I would love for Tamara to take it away and tell us all we need to know about being confident.
Yes. Well, I love this because I love Angel. I sat my first class, it's been 10 years. And we were sitting there, and I had my babies who were little at the time, who are now grown. And I made another one. I made another human after that. And I remember my first impression with Angel is that her lower half of her body operated independent from her top half. And when she would do Zumba, I would find myself staring at her butt in all truth and thinking, how, God? Why can't you say you're no respecter of persons, but mine will not work as hers will? And it's true. I mean, and that's not the first time she's heard that. I have said it to her on numerous occasions that watching her do Zumba is really like, she disrupts gravity. That's all I can say. She disrupts gravity. But she's right. I am a coach, and I work with people in all network marketing because I love it as a business. I used to build doTERRA. I don't anymore. It's not that I don't have a problem with them. I still love doTERRA. I mean, I still have oils, a bunch of them. But I fell in love with helping people hit goals because network marketing is residual. And if you ever wanted to know the power of it, 2020 is a great example. 2020 is a great example of everything. I mean, in my house, we carved a pumpkin last night and put up a Christmas tree. That's what's happened. That's where we are. Like we've hit that place. I don't care no more. But we saw that industries such as network marketing, they maintained. In the midst of the economy where so many small businesses, brick and mortar businesses flopped, not for their own efforts, which is heartbreaking, just because of circumstances outside of their control, network marketing maintained and elevated because it doesn't require a brick and mortar lease to operate in a functional environment. And I love it because it is absolutely available to anybody. You can be making the same amount of money that an anesthesiologist is making and not have to put needles in people, because that's gross. That's just so gross. And not have to carry the malpractice and all those things. Anybody can do this in any industry as long as you're over 18. Like it's incredible. So I became a coach that works with a lot of them and helped them become extremely successful. I will tell you, the goal for me is never that they hit ranks or grow in their company. The goal is that they heal as a human, and the most organic byproduct of that is that they become extremely successful. Because oftentimes what happens is network marketing is you lay this highway and you want to go on it 80 miles an hour, and then you subsequently lay speed bumps because of unresolved issues. So you hit a speed bump at 80 miles an hour, like it doesn't work so good. And that's what happens. So I have brought something on. I'm going to screen share, which I am extremely confident, but technology creates what I like to liken to diarrhea moments. And screen sharing is one of them. And it just, okay, hold on. You may have to enable that, my sweet friend. It just told me I was unpermitted to do so. Zoom is not my fan of mine. Let's see if I can do it again. Oh yeah, I got it, babe. Ooh, hot dog. Look at us go. All right.
Okay, I just feel really smart right now. Thank you.
Well, you should, is what you should. All right, I'm gonna play it so I won't be able to see all of you. It's not that I'm ignoring you. And so this is something that I love, and I thought this, when I was putting it together, I thought this is perfect for you all, because we're ending this year. Believe it or not, friends, it's happening. I mean, it's gonna happen so soon. And so this is a picture of What's Your Everest is the title of this. And this is a picture of actually people climbing up to the summit, like back to back. I don't know if you know this, they pay a lot of money to do that. I have no idea why you couldn't pay me enough money to do that. Like, it's cold and you're eating MREs and there's people like that doesn't sound fun. There's no fun in that, but people want to do it because it's sort of the zenith of adventure living, right? But every one of us has an Everest in our life. And it seems like that insurmountable mountain that we can't climb. Everest has this there's notoriety connected to it that it's not built for everybody. And honestly, there's the percentage of people who endeavor to do it and actually are able to complete it is small. But we all have it. And most people statistically make it to you can see it on here, Camp 2. Why would I show you this with words and all that? You start at base camp and then they make it to Camp 2. Camp 3 and 4 and the summit is actually really, really hard to do. Why? Because from Camp 4 on is the death zone. That is where people die. And they tell you when you die up there, you will not be airlifted off. You become a part of Everest. And to the point that when people are rising to the summit from Camp 4, they will pass over the bodies behind them. Like, that would be enough for me. Tamara would be like, so we out, because, I mean, why? But people keep going. But if you look at this in the course of your life, all of us have a base camp. We all have a place where we began our life. But if you think about it, there are places in our lives that have been death zones. And we just don't see it that way because usually there's pain attached to it, but we don't realize that that's actually not the way that we need to remember it. We don't need to remember it through the lens of pain. We need to remember it that we lived. In every story that you've been through that has caused you pain, there's a summit. You just didn't remember that part. You just remembered the pain. So going into 2021, my hope is when you hear this, you go back and you reframe what you've been through. Oftentimes, one of the reasons we don't do it is because we feel like it'll never end. And we do this a lot in our lives. What's the point? It's never going to stop. It's never going to end. And certainly they must feel this way. I mean, I can't imagine getting up and that's your view. No, God knew. Tamara's not built for that. Okay. Tamara's built to enjoy mountains in a Jeep with an open top. Like, God knew. God knew me. But that's oftentimes how we feel. is I'm not going to pursue this with all I have, whether it's Juice Plus, whether it's life, whether it's a health journey, because we tell ourselves, what's the point? The disappointment and all attached to it won't end. Oftentimes we feel this way. That's how those people look. Like, again, why? I don't know. But there they are. We feel like I can't even breathe. I can't even imagine hitting the top. One of the biggest fears that I deal with my client base, and it's often odd for most people to imagine it, is they're afraid of success. We don't think about that because we're much more familiar with the fear of failure. But fear of success is equal, at least in my line of work, to the fear of failure. Why? Because if we get there and we actually have it, the biggest thing they're afraid of is that they're going to lose it. That it's easier to go through life never having tasted it and just turn it into the elusive mountaintop than to taste it and have it taken. This is an everyday. I see it all the time. Then we run out of trust in the process. So if you're building a business, there's no question that you have been told no at some point. Oftentimes by people that you wouldn't have imagined, maybe a family member, somebody close to you. And as you go through building a business, oftentimes it's difficult because the way that you perceive you're going to act it out and the way that it actually manifests in your life is different. And it's easy to say, oh, this isn't working. This isn't for me. This isn't for me. I don't have Angel's personality. I can't move my butt like she does. How can I do this? How can I do this? And these are thoughts that we begin to entertain when we're up that mountain. Because you can't control the conditions. And in life, you can't control the conditions. One of the things that happens with maturity and time is you realize in life that the word that we're all racing after is control. Why? Because we really don't have any. So we create what I call fake and false mechanisms to perceive control. And one of them is telling ourselves, well, I'm not built for this, or I'm not good at this, or I don't do sales. That's one of my favorites. I just don't do sales. And I think to myself, we're all doing sales every day. Every human being does sales every day. Why? If you meet somebody with the intent of having a relationship, it's a form of sales. We don't look at it that way because we've created sales to be a dirty word. It might as well be something that Eminem says in a song, which I like. Eminem, don't judge me. But it's true. We can't control the conditions. You and I, 90% of the pain that's been caused in our life, the disappointments, the things that we would never go through again, happened because we couldn't control it. And when we don't feel like we can control our businesses or control who's going to say yes or no, who's going to build, who's not going to build, who's going to partner and who's not going to partner, it triggers those old places where we also didn't have control. So we retreat. It's not because you're weak, it's because you're human. And then we have to realize, what is it about other people who are very, very, very successful and us? And then we start the comparison game. Well, it's because she's size 2, okay? She can feel her abs. We start saying these things. It's because she's got a great social media presence. It's because her hair is fabulous. It's because, have you seen her Instagram account? Okay, it looks like she lives at Joanna Gaines' house. Like, we say these things. Why? Because if we can create a comparison that justifies not doing it, we will. But I have worked with some of the biggest earners in a lot of companies. I mean, we're talking people who are cranking somewhere between $200,000 and $400,000 a month. I mean, they're just making cash. Lots and lots of it. What is different from them and you? Nothing. Nothing, except they leaned into their resilience. Period. Resiliency. And you may think, well, how do I get resiliency? You have resiliency. How do I know? You are currently on this call alive. All of you right now have a heartbeat, and you currently have respirations. You're breathing, which means you've already survived everything that attempted to kill you. You just have to reframe it to where what attempted to kill you isn't something you put away because it was scary, that you look at it and you don't see the death zone, you see the summit. That's where everything changes. Because here's the truth, brave is a choice. When I met Angel, it was right before she had her surgery. It was maybe a month before she had her surgery. And I remember the last class that she taught right before going in, because everybody prayed for her. It was an evening class, and everybody prayed. It was within the day. I want to say it was within a day of when she was going in there. And there was this, she oozed brave. And I remembered thinking, man, I don't know if I do that. I don't know if I do that. And when she got out, she still oozed brave. Y'all hang out with her. You know that there's like nothing she's not afraid to do. And I love that about her. But it's not because, oh, God gave her a brave chip and didn't give it to the rest of us. No, it's a choice. It's a choice. You're brave, my brave, her brave. It all comes at the end of a choice. I choose to. Oh, that's a hard one. Why? Because you have to take a bet on you. You're betting on you at that point. And if we're not huge fans of ours, that's real hard. Think about the person you don't like the most. Don't stay there because I don't want to ruin your evening. Would you make an investment if they were taking a business out? Probably not. But oftentimes, the person that we are least a fan of is us. And then we're shocked that we can't find that brave. Because brave isn't Hollywood. We've all seen this movie. You know, we love it when the Australian man tries to pull off a Scottish accent. Super fun. But that's not what brave is. That's not it. It's not that screaming, hold the line. Brave is not this huge, we like to turn brave into masterful, huge, like, oh, he was in the military and he did this. Yes, those are moments of brave. But brave is not only in the context of something that could be made into a movie. Brave is when you choose to not give up. This picture evokes a lot of emotions for a lot of people, but the reason I like it is because the guy that's being carried actually at that point was paralyzed. He had become paralyzed. He could not use his legs. And the dude clearly isn't giving up. And I know for some people, they're like, oh, it's war, it's guns. I don't know. We're in the South. So, like, I mean, I'm packing right now as we talk. But anyhow, it's that idea that what our brave is the same people that are making all of this money. It's resiliency. It's choosing not to give up. How do I know each of you have that? Because you do. Because if there was one thing God hardwired every human being with, it's the ability to not give up. So what does that look like? Building a business is this. It's going to be 1,000 rejections. I started this as a business 3 years ago. And when you start your own business and you go out in an industry that is social media based, whoo, doggies. I mean, I can't tell you, for every person that likes me, there is somebody that's like, she's loud. She is ridiculous. Why doesn't she wear pants when she's on camera? Which I never do, by the way, but you can't tell. It's fine. That's the beauty of Zoom. Hey. And you have to recognize that building a business is 1,000 rejections. But the problem with it is when we are not healed and we don't like ourselves, we don't see it as 1,000 rejections of an opportunity with the business. What we hear is 1,000 rejections of us. They're saying no to me. They're rejecting me. No. The moment our worth carries more weight than whatever the product value associated is with what you're selling, that's when that top of the mountain is more the death zone than the summit. 1,000 tears. Your life has probably already carried that. And thank God we have a God that collects them all. You've already prayed and cried and probably felt that weight of, I can't do this. And somehow you got up the next morning. You did. Will building a business be 1,000 tears? Sure. But so is raising children. So is a marriage. So is Zumba. If you have plantar fascia, which I did, it was uncomfortable. Will you be disappointed? You betcha. Because leaders are not born except in one place. They're called in a valley of disappointment. So in this Zoom, that was supposed to say Zoom, I just realized that it says, sorry. So in this Zoom currently, and you do not have to raise your hand. I'm not asking for any audience participation here. But statistically, in this Zoom right now, somebody statistically has gone to jail. Somebody has. Statistically, someone has had an overdose. Someone has been raped. Someone has experienced domestic violence. Someone has been abandoned, neglected, molested, bankrupt, foreclosed. That's a hard one. Food stamps. So the reason I love this picture, it's one of my favorite pictures of all time. It actually hangs in my office because the work that I do, I'm not just a business coach, I'm also a trauma coach. And I take what people have been through and help them make it into their life. 4 years ago, I was on the way to, I don't know if everybody is local, but if you're not, I'll give you context. About 15 minutes from where I live is the Natchez Trace Bridge. It's one of the largest bridges in America and has 32-inch railings, which is ridiculously low. And I was en route to take my own life. This was 4 years ago. And I was done. I was out. And God came alongside and he saved my life and took me from the worst of the worst to where it was, I was literally minutes away from not being here. I had already said goodbye to my children. I had written things out. This wasn't just an inkling or a mere unction. This was a very formulated choice I was making. And when I look back, I look at some of the people in my life, and when it was all said and done, I had said to one of my best friends, he's a guy named Neil, and I said, I think I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And he said, you're being selfish. And this was after I'd been through all this. I'd actually gone, got treatment, everything. And I was like, are you kidding? Like, dirty dirt. And he said, if you give up, you have to be willing to be okay with giving up on the thousands of people that are on the other side of the mountain that are waiting for you to get this. And oh, that changed everything. And the reason I love this picture is because these people are unwilling for this guy to jump. They literally were wrapping ropes around him, holding on with all that they were. He was not jumping. When I told you all the raped and the foreclosures and the molestations, that was me. All but one overdose. I was all of those things. And I had given up on my life because I didn't think it mattered the same way this guy did. And it was 3 months after I had that conversation with Neil that this business started. And in pursuit of helping people grow businesses, I deal with suicide calls all the time. All the time. There's been almost 24 suicide calls that are currently alive, 11 marriages that were in divorce proceedings that are currently together. Why? Because I didn't jump. Because I didn't jump. And I show you this picture because we all have this lie that we think we don't matter. I can't make that big of an impact. I'm a mom with littles. I can't grow a business, or I'm older and I don't understand technology, whatever that lie is. So we just decide, what's the point? But I had to recognize this question. I had to be willing that if I was going to give everything up, that I was giving up every person that was attached to it, that was supposed to be changed, because my life was going to meet their life. And God was going to somehow use me to invade their story on his behalf. They were on my back. If you've ever watched the movie, it's one of my favorite movies. It's older. And it's by the Kendricks brothers, and it's Facing the Giants. And it's just such a great movie. And it's this idea of this guy who was blindfolded, and he had a kid on his back, and he had to crawl as far as he could down the length of a football field with this guy on his back. But he did it blindfolded because the coach knew that if he could see that he hit the 50-yard mark, he stopped. And subsequently, he made it the entire length of the field with this kid on his back. And it was because he was going on pure grit. I'm not giving up. And when I had to get to that place that I realized I wasn't giving up, I had to realize that on my back were the people I was supposed to meet, my children. And each one of us have people that we're responsible for. And it can be in the context of business, or in your community, or in your very house. But we have to ask ourselves, are we doing our very best? Because who's on my back? Who's watching you? People observe things even when they're not saying anything. And every one of us has this innate ability to influence the people around us. It's a gift. Because people look at me all the time and they'll say to me, man, I want to do what you do. And I kind of smile and think, man, I hope you do, but you better have some tough skin, because this wasn't taught. This was fought. I fought for this. You have already fought. How do I know? You're here. You're here. The people that impress me every day are not people that are on the cover of a magazine airbrushed. That's nice, whatever. The people who impress me are the ones that are so much pain and somehow the next morning give up, get up, and serve somebody else. Those are my heroes. Those are my heroes. Because who's depending on your leadership? This is what I get a lot. How do I have leadership when I don't even have anybody to lead? Leadership doesn't require people. Leadership is a choice that we make. When we choose to walk in leadership, when we don't even have someone to lead, you inevitably attract people to lead. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. So here's the picture of that movie. I love that. Every time I watch this scene, I've seen it easily 500 times, easily. And every time I cry. Like Nehemiah, my 8-year-old, he knows if I play that scene, he's like, I mean, now he's not even sweet about it. He's like, oh God. Because he knows I'm going to cry. The guy next to him in the movie was this coach, and he was screaming at him the whole time, don't you give up. Don't you give up. And that's my job, is I get to come alongside people who are overwhelmed by life, and I scream at them, not literally, but don't you give up. Because I am forever aware that when they give up, they don't just give away their own dreams, but the people that they're intended to meet, that they're intended to love on, they're intended to support, to give a business opportunity, they will succumb to. And I'm just not willing to let that happen. Because you have to keep going. 2021 is going to happen, please. And we get to decide whether we will look at it the same way we saw that picture in the beginning as the death zone that could take us or the summit that's waiting for us. Because it's the same thing. It's all the perspective. You're either going to see the death zone and what could go wrong, or the summit that gives you the opportunity of a lifetime. It's all the perspective you have. But you've already lived through your stuff. Because I know that I'm not the only one that resonated with that list. I know I'm not. Hello, babies. Sorry, I love the babies. The babies and the puppies. I know I'm not. I know statistically there are several of you that was like that. Yep, I got that one. Foreclosure, yep, been there. Molestation, yep, been there. Domestic violence, I know. That didn't happen to you to break you unless you give it permission. I want you to look at all that you've been through and realize one word, through. You ain't there anymore unless you choose to be. Because it's all heart. It's all heart from here. Heart is so much more important than anything. Because heart won't give up. Where mind gives up, at times even our own will gives up, heart won't. People can give up on us. People will give up. Oh, I mean, the amount of people who gave up on me in the process of me walking out my dream was a lot. And what I learned is that I wasn't dependent on people. I wasn't dependent on anybody except God, His truth, His word over me. And I wasn't going to stop because I knew that if I came that close to jumping off a bridge, that there were other people that I was going to meet that were that close to. They were that close too. We all have the ability to change the whole world. And because the truth is, to somebody, one person is the whole world. One person is the whole world. So I hope you hear this and that you look back on the places that maybe you haven't climbed this high because of all that could go wrong. And now you look at it and go, no, I'm not going to gauge it by what could go wrong. I'm going to look back at all the things that I've already conquered in my life and survived. And I'm going to see the summit waiting for me and not the death being laid out for me. I'm going to go for this. I hope 2021 is the year that you put all the what coulda, shoulda, woulda go wrongs aside and you go after this with all your heart. Because you won't regret that. I mean, truthfully, when my marriage ended 3.5 years ago, I was a stay-at-home homeschooling mom. And I was told, you're not going to make it. I mean, it was a sentiment shared with me. You haven't worked in years. You haven't done this. And I don't say this to brag, nor do I say this to put anyone down. But the very people who said that to me, that I was going to end up on food stamps because I had been on them before. I was going to end up there. And I don't say this to be braggy. I make 3 times what all of them make. And it's not because, it's about money. And please don't be afraid of money. I help so many people now. When I was on food stamps, I could barely help myself. The people I help now, it's way different. It's way, way different because with more zeros comes more opportunity to bless people. That's just it. There's nothing cooler than sitting in a parking lot, watching a single mom come up to her car, grabbing an envelope that I put there, and there's $300 that says, Merry Christmas, go buy your kids toys. And I'm sitting 400 feet back with my kid, just sitting there going, woo, 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 because I was that mom. Don't be afraid of the money. The money is just a conduit for you to bless somebody. So it's all heart from here. Find the summit that scared you and climb it. I think we did it. Yeah, good. All right. I almost ended it. I almost did. I was this close. I got gun shy. So I love your faces. Go into this year excited. Because, we went through 2020, but if we can go through this, Like, there's not, like, it's fine. Everything's fine. It's
Tamara,
all fine.
you had me laughing. You had me crying. I just can't thank you enough.
Oh, babe, you're welcome.
That word resilience, that's it. I've always thought this business, you got to be Rocky Balboa, because you're going to get knocked down. You're going to get told no and all that. But if you just keep getting up because you believe in yourself, and what you said is, look at everything you've overcome. We've all overcome stuff. Maybe not as much as you, girl, but we've all overcome stuff. And it makes us who we are. It made you this amazing person who is giving and helping and serving. And, you know, I was in a Bible study, and one of the girls had come out of sex trafficking. And she was asking, how do you get free? How do you get free? You know, because she's not free inside, but she was there. And that's what the teacher was telling her. The speaker was like, you're here, you're on your journey, we're all on a journey. So that was just incredible. Thank you so much. And I'm going to say a couple things. Okay, never give up. Have you heard of Bear Grylls? Has anybody heard of Bear Grylls?
Love Bear Grylls.
Okay, well, he spoke at our conference. He's been taking Juice Plus since he was 15 years old. He had Juice Plus on Mount Everest, okay? And his speech was titled, Never Give Up. And he called
well, that's confirmation. Everest and never give up. That's weird. Well, that's just
Juice Plus, baby. He took Juice Plus. He's been eating it since he was 15. And then another cool thing, Eminem. I love Eminem, and my kids think I'm crazy, but there's this one song called Monster that I use at Halloween, and I've been using it. It like makes me cry. If y'all need a good Eminem song, check out Eminem. Erna, you might not like it. I don't know. And then another thing that you said that I got to say, one last thing, is if you walk in leadership, if you get out there and put yourself out there, I'm a leader, people will come. Just like you said, you got to believe in yourself. And if you've already been through other stuff and God's put this desire in you, then you're gonna do it.
Absolutely. I've never advertised one day for the business I hold. And they come, just like Field of Dreams. They come.
Yeah, they keep coming. And I can't wait to catch up more with you personally. So can I get a picture, guys? Just smile for my social media. And I'm always on stories. I love stories. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yay! Thank you, Tamara. I appreciate you.
I'm going to jump off and put an 8-year-old to bed.
Okay, I got to find out more about this 8-year-old. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, friends.
Oh, that was such a treat. Were y'all just blown away? Oh,
Yeah, she was incredible.
Great.
I know. Hello. Hey, Lila. I forgot to mention, I told some of y'all this, but when she was taking my Zumba class, she invited me to her birthday party, and I went. And guess who I sat next to? Toby Mac's wife.
Woo.
Toby Mac, y'all know who Toby Mac is? Okay. I'm like a huge Toby Mac fan. When we moved here, I saw him at our church. Oh, there's another baby.
He just got a really bad haircut.
He's
Happens when
adorable.
mommy's cut 8-month-old's hair.
Totally adorable. But anyway, I
So cute.
was telling her of how I use all this music in my classes and stuff, and she was like, I don't even dance. I don't know how to dance. I was like, how could you be married to Toby Mac and not dance? I mean, come on. So anyway, guys, okay, I think I'll stop the recording, and then I'll